Hurricane 2019, global warming, and all sorts of other things that are happening. And also the Amazon's catching on fire. Um, for those of you who don't know, um, it's crazy. But we check out a little bit of Doreen a little bit. It's a little bit of footage of it. Um, it's crazy. I ain't gonna stay long. It's gonna get out real quick. It's crazy. Most of the times when we have hurricanes, like in the southeast, it always affects up here. Somehow affects mostly New York, tri-state area. We get a little rain, but not too much rain. And most of the eye of the storm and the you know the the width of the storm, it mostly is out in the Atlantic Ocean. But it's crazy how the storm is like in the way it's moving. Um, I called one of my coworkers. He's down there with his mom. He's on the other side of Florida, but hopefully, you know, um, you know, it doesn't hit him and his mom because they had the hurricane last year, and a palm tree actually crashed and just about landed on her roof, like halfway on the roof. So, he had to pay for it and get it fixed up. So, yeah, it's hurricanes. It depends on the way the hurricane is, and it depends on how far it is and how much of a width of it is. It can be very, very, devastating. My sister's down in the Carolinas, so she's getting prepared for, just in case of the storm hits over there because they're like towards the beach. They're not too far from the beach. They're like over in Williamsburg, um, King Street, Andrews, Myrtle Beach. Definitely, will definitely get hit. When you're out in Columbia, like somewhere in the middle, towards the edge of South Carolina, you don't get hit as much. Most likely tornadoes come there, but highly unlikely hurricane comes to Columbia. It'll come, but it won't be as strong because it's in the middle land. Mostly middle land gets like tornadoes, flatland. But yeah. So I'm predicting we might get a hurricane here in New York. I'm predicting that. Because we haven't had a hurricane in about 7 years since Hurricane Sandy. But hopefully, you know, things that'll work out. The Bahamas is the Bahamas. Oh man, the Bahamas is wow. As you can see here, it's crazy. The Bahamas is off the chains right now.
The front yard view of the house that I'm in.
Wow.
As y'all can see, the trees, that's the water right there.
Wow.
Right against the window. The water is about 6 feet or over 6 feet deep. God be us. God be with us.
Dang. Say word.
Water is everywhere. The windows are broken, and now water is coming through those big windows you see over there. Wait, the car moving?
Of course.
I want everybody to understand. We are from here in the hurricane. We are like 90 miles away.
I already said 20 miles away. Gotta be thousands of miles away for you. Wow. Look at that water. Look at that water, man. This is August, September. Actually, September. My bad. Wow. Crazy, man. The lobsters are deep, deep sea right now. Don't want nothing to do with that hurricane.
Right now, we are seeing this catastrophic damage from the Bahamas. Hurricane Dorian still there. At least one death reported, just a child. Our own Janice Fernandez was there in the Bahamas when Dorian made landfall.
We're so glad to report that she is okay, along with her photographer, Brian Eli. We checked in with them. We got to speak to them, and they are doing just fine. We're waiting for another contact with them, though, and of course, ultimately, to get some video coming out of Marsh Harbor. Amy Viteri is in the newsroom with a look at Janice's journey in the storm.
Well, JC, as for so many people riding out the storm,
Just to let y'all know, when you're close about water, like on Long Island where I'm at, or Staten Island, or Coney Island, or a bay, or a port, it's like the chances you getting hit real hard is 100 to 100. You're gonna get hit hard. You understand? That's why it's important that if you live close by water, it's very, very important that you at least, if you're gonna build a house or live somewhere where there's rock mass. You know, there's always rock mass somewhere, or make sure the house is made of, some good concrete. A little bit of steel. You understand? So it won't be as damaged. You get damaged, but not as much damage.
throughout the Bahamas, our own crew was forced to take shelter, and we did lose contact with them for several hours after the eye of the hurricane passed through. And we want to take you to some live pictures right now. This is near Baintown in Freeport, Bahamas. You can just see the pounding they are getting from those heavy rains and winds, and you can see the flooding already, a major issue there. And we also want to show you video right now of Bahamas TV. This is CNS Network. They are, of course, in extended hurricane coverage, and you can see some of the images of the flooding there. Look how high that water is coming, nearly up to the roof of that home, and Dorian is not finished.
That's the water hitting my frontal window, which is extremely high.
Videos of the devastation throughout the Bahamas pouring in as Hurricane Dorian overwhelmed several islands. In Grand Bahama, water lapping the windows and flooding a home well above sea level.
That's my bedroom. And the waves hitting there, that is over 15 feet from the ground.
In Freeport, waves of water inundate a house's lower floor, carrying floating furniture and debris with it. And conditions even worse outside, as several cars in Freeport are nearly submerged in the high waters. On the Abaco Islands, the damage is devastating. Local 10's Janice Fernandez rode out the storm with photographer Brian Eli in Marsh Harbor. We lost contact with our crew late Sunday afternoon, but finally got word Monday morning.
Shutters, aluminum shutters, were at this hotel and they blew off the windows.
Janice and Brian both unharmed, but say the fury of the Cat 5 storm is a sobering reminder. Always be prepared.
I pray that a storm like this never hits South Florida, because if it does, and you hear us on the television telling you not only to prepare but to evacuate, you need to do it. Trust me when I tell you, you do not want to experience a storm like this. It was terrifying.
Local news broadcasts in the Bahamas focusing on those still unaccounted for, as families try not only to survive Dorian's onslaught, but find loved ones left with no way to communicate.
I'm trying to get a message. If my daughter can hear me, or anybody can hear this, I'm trying to locate my daughter Lisa Bain and her son.
Wow.
I haven't heard from them from yesterday morning.
Wow.
Everybody is concerned. All our siblings are concerned, and they're calling me and trying to find out if I hear anything.
So just such a struggle right now for people trying to get their bearings in the Bahamas. And again, take a look at this video that we showed you of furniture floating on the first floor of a home, and you can actually see waves there on the interior of that home. So the devastation continues there. And we do want to take you back to those live pictures that we were showing you before from Freeport. Again, those conditions relentless as the wind and the rain and that flooding continue to pound this area you're looking at near Baintown in Freeport, Bahamas. And we are still getting new images coming into our newsroom as damage continues occurring throughout the Bahamas, throughout those islands. We are monitoring all of those videos, and we will bring you new information as soon as we get it. But for now, just heartbreaking to see the devastation there. JC and Eric.
It's serious. It's serious. I just hope that everybody in the Bahamas,
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
I hope that everybody survives it, and they're safe, out there in the Bahamas, because it ain't no joke. Hurricane is no joke. Hurricane is actually worse than a tornado, in my opinion. Both of them are bad, but I think hurricane is worse. But
we want to get right to
Bobby
Hurricane
Norris,
Dorian, Category 5
RDK,
storm hitting the Bahamas,
signing
heading
out.
to the
Look at that.
southeast. One of the strongest
Wow.
Atlantic hurricanes in recorded history, compact but fierce.
And that's why mandatory evacuations are already in place from Florida all the way up to North Carolina, and the storm leaving so much devastation in its path. Take a look at this apartment building on Abaco Island, completely destroyed. Here's what this Category 5 storm looks like from the International Space Center's camera, and take a look at this image, chilling, showing what it's like directly inside the eye of that storm.
That's the eye right now, but the winds are fierce. Here's what we know. Dorian has made landfall in the Bahamas 3 times so far as a Category 5 storm. Winds up to 185 miles an hour. The National Hurricane Center says it's tied with the 1935 Labor Day storm for the strongest hurricane to make landfall in the Atlantic. We have team coverage all across the storm zone. Ginger starts us off from Jupiter, Florida, far from the Bahamas. Ginger, but the wind's already starting.
Yeah.
We've seen gusts just south of here to nearly 50 miles per hour already, George, and I'm already feeling the sand blasting my face, the bands of rain coming in, those outer bands of the storm that is still more than 100 miles to my east-southeast.
100 miles
barely
away.
moving. That thing is inching over the Grand Bahama Island right now at only 1 mile per hour. But that is good for the east coast of Florida and Georgia and South Carolina, because the slower it goes, the more time it has to make that fateful turn to the north. So let's go ahead and see that track, which still takes it east of the coast of Florida. Does that mean you have no impacts? Obviously not. I'm standing here 100 miles away from it, and you're already feeling it. Hurricanes are not just a single point. They are broad. You can feel hurricane force winds 45 miles
You hear what she said? You hear what she said? They're broad, they're wide, they're very wide. Even if you're 100 miles away, you got to be at least 1,000 miles away for you not to really get the real, wind impact. But it's still, we're thousands of miles away from Florida. We're all the way on Long Island, and we still get the effects. It's still like right now. I can show you now. It's like a darkish, stormish, stormy lookish, So. Yeah, the hurricane is serious. It's serious, even when it's like 5,000 miles away. You understand? It's like the broadness of it, the width of it, and the wind is like it just carries on, carries, and she's about 100 miles away from it. So that's where the guy who I work with, he and his mother is at. They're in the east of Florida. So it's best mostly to stay, if you're going to live somewhere, it's best mostly stay up north or inland of America, because, you're not going to get too much, too much storms if you're living like somewhere, in, let's just say Michigan, Chicago, Wisconsin. The only storm you basically get is the snowstorm, which is bad too, but you're not going to get like no hurricanes as much, You may get a little tornado, but it's highly unlikely you're going to get any wind storms. The only mostly windstorm you get is a snowstorm, and that could be bad too, And people could be trapped in places. So, any way or another, anywhere across the world or even across the United States, you're going to get bad weather. No matter what, Whether it be hurricane, tornado, snowstorm, earthquake, you understand? You know, hey, even though earthquake's not a weather, it's something, you know, natural disaster, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that storm Dorian is just hope and pray that everybody, you know, makes it. They said it's a catastrophe so far, probably more than that. You know, so these are the places where, you know, Charleston, my family's in Charleston, Wilmington, North Carolina, family over there. So, yeah. So, yeah. This storm is Hurricane 2019. It's going to continue. Bobby BK signing out. Peace.